Think about how a skilled mechanic actually diagnoses a vehicle problem. There are scanners, oscilloscopes, live data streams, fault code readers, and all the sophisticated electronic diagnostic tools that modern automotive service depends on. But ask any experienced technician, and most of them will tell you that before any of that equipment comes out, there is a listening phase that matters enormously. You drive the vehicle. You listen for the bearing rumble that only appears at a specific road speed. You catch the knock that arrives under load at operating temperature. You notice the subtle change in drivetrain tone that suggests something in the differential or transmission is beginning to develop a problem that no sensor has yet registered and no fault code has yet flagged. Sound is diagnostic information. It always has been. The mechanical systems inside any vehicle generate an acoustic fingerprint that changes in specific and meaningful ways as components wear, as clearances develop, as mounting points loosen, as fluid contamination alters the behavior of dynamic systems. A well-trained technician reads that acoustic fingerprint continuously during a road test, and now a growing number of modern electric vehicles are actively overlaying that acoustic fingerprint with synthetic audio generated by software. Mechanics are starting to raise serious concerns about what that means for their ability to catch problems early, and the automotive mainstream has barely begun to take those concerns seriously. Active sound design is the technology at the center of this conversation. Its origins are legitimate and rooted in a genuine safety problem. Electric vehicles at low speeds produce almost no acoustic output, creating a real and documented hazard for pedestrians and visually impaired road users who rely on vehicle sound to detect approaching traffic. Regulations in the European Union and the United States now require electric and hybrid vehicles to produce a minimum alert sound at speeds below approximately 20 kilometers per hour through an installed speaker system. This system is called an Acoustic Vehicle Alerting System, or AVAS. It is a legally mandated safety feature, and the case for its existence is clear and well supported by road safety research data. At its most basic level, AVAS is a bounded and relatively simple audio event at low speed, a pedestrian alert sound. That is what the regulation requires. Active sound design builds extensively on top of that regulatory foundation, where AVAS requires a specific minimum acoustic output below a defined speed threshold for pedestrian protection purposes. Active sound design creates a dynamic and continuous synthetic audio experience that operates across a much broader range of driving conditions. It generates artificial engine notes, simulated exhaust signatures, and throttle-responsive audio feedback that modulates with vehicle speed, driving mode, and accelerator input. In performance-oriented electric vehicles, the ASD system is integrated with the vehicle's drive mode selector so that sport or performance modes trigger more aggressive synthetic audio profiles. The intent is to maintain the emotional and experiential character of a high-performance vehicle across the transition from combustion to electric powertrains, preserving the acoustic dimension of the driving experience that manufacturers and their customers have always understood to be an important part of what makes performance driving emotionally satisfying. The diagnostic concern that an increasing number of mechanics are raising is specific and practical. A technician conducting a road test to investigate a customer-reported noise or vibration complaint is listening for something real and mechanical during that test. They're trying to hear the sound the customer noticed, understand its acoustic character, identify its frequency and rhythm, determine under what exact conditions it appears and disappears, and use all of that information to hypothesize which mechanical system or component is most likely responsible. That diagnostic process depends on the acoustic environment of the vehicle being a reasonably faithful representation of its mechanical operation. When active sound design is operating, it is adding a dynamic layer of synthetic audio to that environment. Audio that is not random background noise that can be mentally filtered out, but audio that is modulated by the same variables, speed, load, throttle position, and mode selection that real mechanical sounds also respond to. The practical risk this creates is that separating a genuine mechanical acoustic signature from a synthetic ASD audio artifact during a diagnostic road test becomes significantly more difficult on ASD-equipped platforms than it is on vehicles without that layer. A wheel bearing beginning to develop noise typically produces a specific frequency signature that varies with vehicle speed in a predictable way. An ASD system producing speed-correlated synthetic engine or exhaust audio is also producing acoustic content tied to the same variable. If those two sound sources overlap in frequency range or temporal pattern, the risk of a technician misidentifying or failing to isolate the mechanical signal from the synthetic one is real. Even experienced diagnosticians with excellent trained ears are working in a more complex and ambiguous acoustic environment on these vehicles. And that complexity has real consequences in terms of diagnostic time, diagnostic accuracy, and the potential for a developing mechanical fault to be missed during a service inspection. There's a customer communication layer to this that generates practical friction in service situations. When a customer brings a vehicle in reporting an unusual sound during a specific driving condition, the first task for the technician is to reproduce and confirm that the described sound actually exists and is reproducible. On an ASD-equipped vehicle, differential and determining whether a reported sound is a real mechanical indicator or a perceived artifact of the vehicle's synthetic audio system is itself an investigative step that requires additional attention and knowledge of the specific platform's ASD behavior profile. A technician who is not deeply familiar with how a particular vehicle's active sound design behaves across its full operating range is working at a disadvantage when trying to make that determination. That knowledge gap has real cost in diagnostic time, and it creates the possibility of a customer being returned a vehicle with a genuine developing mechanical issue that was not identified because the diagnostic process could not clearly resolve it against the synthetic audio background. The broader EV service landscape is already complex in ways that make this additional diagnostic challenge particularly significant. Electric vehicle drivetrains produce their own characteristic acoustic signatures in normal operation that are quite different from combustion vehicle sounds and require different diagnostic knowledge to interpret correctly. High-frequency inverter whine from power electronics, the distinctive sound of regenerative braking engagement and disengagement, thermal management system fan cycles, power electronics, cooling pump operation, and the specific sound patterns of electric motor and gearbox operation all create an acoustic environment that technicians trained primarily on combustion vehicles are still building familiarity with. Adding a continuous and dynamic synthetic audio layer on top of that genuinely different and unfamiliar acoustic baseline makes the learning curve for EV diagnostics steeper for everyone entering this space without deep platform-specific experience. Manufacturer training for EV service has improved significantly over the past several years and continues to develop. Some platform-specific training programs do address diagnostic methodology for ASD-equipped vehicles and provide technicians with guidance on how to approach road test diagnostics in that context, but training access remains uneven across the service network. Large authorized dealer groups with the volume and resources to justify structured EV training programs are better served than independent specialists who have to develop their EV service capability through available online resources, shared technical community knowledge, and direct experience on the vehicles in their bays. For those shops, every additional complicating factor in the diagnostic process represents real-time cost, real professional risk, and real potential for an outcome that does not fully serve the vehicle owner. There is a longer-term vehicle health implication here that has not received adequate discussion in mainstream automotive media coverage. Early acoustic detection of developing mechanical issues is one of the most cost-effective preventive maintenance mechanisms that exists in vehicle ownership. Catching a bearing beginning to fail before it causes secondary damage to surrounding components is far less expensive than replacing the bearing after the secondary damage has occurred. The acoustic detection that makes that early catch possible depends on the vehicle's sound environment faithfully reporting its mechanical condition to the technician paying attention to it. A synthetic audio layer that occupies the same perceptual space as developing mechanical sounds does not help that process. In specific circumstances, it can actively interfere with it. Over a vehicle's operational lifetime, the cumulative effect of missed early detections creates real maintenance and reliability implications for owners who are trusting their service appointments to catch problems before they escalate. Knots and the mechanics raising concerns about active sound design are not expressing a general resistance to EV technology or to innovation in vehicle design. They are identifying a specific and practical problem from the kind of direct, daily, ground-level experience that generates the most reliable kind of feedback about how engineering decisions play out in the real world. That kind of feedback, taken seriously and fed back into the design and calibration process, is how automotive technology gets better over time. Dismissing it as reactionary misses the point entirely. The diagnostic challenge is real. The implications for vehicle maintenance quality are real, and the conversation deserves to happen at the level where the design decisions that affect it are being made. If this video resonated with you, please hit the like button because it takes 2 seconds and it genuinely helps us reach more people in the automotive community who need to hear this perspective. Drop a comment below, especially if you are a technician. And if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more videos like this every week.